Hey everyone, this is the LEGO Winter Village Collection Elf Clubhouse. It's no longer considered part of the creator theme as a sub-theme, the Winter Village series that they do from year to year. It comes in a mostly black box. It says 18 plus on it, but it's still a really fun thing for LEGO fans of pretty much all ages. When you build it all, you end up with a single major house-like structure, a new style of Christmas tree over here, a bunch of presents, 4 elf figures with the short legs, reindeer with the first opaque molding of that, and also a little one-person sleigh to go with it. Getting the little stuff out of the way first, these gifts are very basic in their construction, just stacked up as you see. This is obviously a small toy airplane, one of the smaller ones that they've made, using the relatively recent propeller piece that also fits onto hats that have micro peg holes on them. You got a nice pirate ship here. That's a pretty good build. Looks pretty good from all angles, especially for its scale. And this is a nice little keyboard on a stand. You could consider it to be a very small player piano, but I'm just going to consider it to be, a little synthesizer with a deluxe stand. That's a good build using very few pieces, and that is a printed keyboard 1x4 tile there. My favorite thing amongst all these, due to the nostalgia, is this pretty perfect original, actual IBM PC, like IBM PC XT. And it totally makes sense. I love that idea that the elves would have a really old computer for managing the nice lists, and probably it's stored on a floppy drive. You got the floppy drive slots there and everything. The monitor can turn around. Really nice shaping for that. And I just like this. Just kind of get a kick out of it. This year's tree is mostly 4-sided in its build, almost symmetrical, bilaterally symmetrical as viewed from the top. They've just changed out the positions of some of the colors for the representations of ornaments on every other side. Got the big star up on top, which also has an insert of an inverted tile there to give it a little extra shine, make it feel a little bit extra special. And overall, based on how this was actually built, I didn't expect it to look all that smooth, all that round, but this works out. It's something different and it looks pretty proper. The reindeer started its life as a Patronus for Harry Potter, and this is the first one I believe that we've gotten that is fully opaque in its molding, with the medium nougat color for the body, and then you've got the dark brown color for the flexible horns there to make sure that they don't accidentally snap from being in people's part collections or accidentally being stepped on or something. The printing for that looks pretty good, and how it's hooked up to the little rocket-assisted sleigh here seems appropriate. Nothing is completely out of scale. I like the build for this as well. Again, not using too many pieces, but it has some regalness to it. It looks kind of fancy. It looks kind of classy, and it fits, again, just one single individual that can stand in there. As often as LEGO likes to split up their builds and give you a lot of small builds within a given set, I really appreciate that this set focuses primarily and overwhelmingly on the structure build. So rather than having another separate little shed off to the side or something, they've got a carport here, which is technically a sleigh port, where you can keep the sleigh in there or the reindeer, one or the other. Not both will fit in there, but it's all still part of one base build. It doesn't have an actual base plate underneath, but it's got plates, just regular plates that are connected together, giving it a little bit of texture and something to just hold it all together. And ultimately, like I said, it is all just one single structure. Now, there is one section of it that is a little bit separate in a way, and that's this chimney, which also has built into it a little oven sort of thing, stove/oven sort of thing. And this is able to be rotated around, so it makes it more of an interior space when you close that up like this. Or if you just want to look at this from the front, it's much better to see more of the chimney, seeing the wider side of it. So this is kind of supposed to represent perhaps an interior space, although you could also look at it as an exterior fire pit, little cooking area. You can choose that. It's also very easy to pull this off. It's just attached with a couple of clips down there. But obviously the main build is open around the back, but it does look pretty good from the side angles, even coming back to where you can start to see The open rear of it, I like how you have so much angle. Like, it's a very dynamic shape. There's nothing too plain and boring about it. Some of the attachments of things on the front feel a little bit fragile. I would recommend not getting your hands all up in here too much. Things will start to get misaligned, but fortunately, you're not going to naturally get your hands up in there very much unless you're trying to get these shutters open, but to do that, you would want to push in from the other side anyway. This also has a door down here, which is a fully custom build. That's nice to see. It has a different shape than we're used to, doing something that's not rectangular. Smart. You can angle the little candy cane style pole over here with a couple of signs on it. And yeah, let's get in a little bit closer. I like the strings of lights and how just bright they look with the use of all these wonderful old Bionicle Baraki eyes in 3 different colors. Very, very vibrant and a good source of those particular parts. And then coming around the side, a little bit of accommodation for minifig accessories there with the snowshoes and the flame yellowish orange color. Up here, you've got a telescope that can be rotated around, also angled up and down on this balcony. The balcony can shift a little bit, and the only way for figures to get out there, kind of in-universe, is to go through the window. But fortunately, this is an elf clubhouse, so the window is large enough for them to actually get through, and it's reasonable to think of relatively small people getting through what we normally consider for minifigs to be a small space, for access. This has a few nice action-like features built into it. For one thing, there is a light in here, so there's a light brick behind this, and this is the actuator for it. It's a little bit remote, and you can see that just lights up there, and it's one of the yellow ones, so it lights up the upper floor, shining a little extra light from the outside in there so we can see this better. That is a triple-decker bunk for 3 elves to get their rest at the same time. Over on the left-hand side, a little dresser drawer unit with a couple of items on top. And on the right, just a single seat and end table, and that has a lamp on top of it. You can also see the calendar up on the wall behind. Small rug in front with a couple of studs that are made available with a couple of jumpers, so you can easily have multiple figures actually posed in here. And there is another feature built into this in addition to the light. Let me see if you can see the light at all. Not really. I mean, you can get just a slight idea down here, but with this much light in the studio anyway, it doesn't shine that much, doesn't really stand out. But this clock, which does have a printed face on it, that's an existing piece, can actually be turned. So what you can do is turn this to one side and it'll push the bunks out. So if you have elves on there, they will all fall out at the same time. It's supposed to be kind of a comical thing. You just imagine they all kind of fall onto each other and then ultimately right themselves. It's not actually going to work properly, but it will at least kick them out. When it's time, when they need to get up, it's a good way to make sure that they don't oversleep. So this is the ground floor, and again, they've used a couple of jumpers down there to give you studs to hold on to feet, little feet, so that figures that are posed down here will not automatically slide off all the time. I'm always making fun of Lego for doing fully tiled floors, which look really nice to adult fans especially, but as soon as you want to pose a figure, it's a big pain. So I'm glad that it looks like at least this designer is caring about such things. And there's another one over here by the little workbench, which has a gift there that has been wrapped up, and this is a gift wrapping table. So you've got the shears there, and you can see that they've used a couple of car doors stacked up and mounted on their sides against the wall to give the suggestion of continuous roll, a continuous roll or a pair of continuous rolls. I think it's supposed to be one of just striped wrapping paper. Good idea, well executed, good use of the space as well. Good level of detail without packing too much stuff in there. So again, you can actually put figures in. And on the other side, you got space for a couple of figures to, well, not really sit because the short-legged figures don't sit, they stand. But yeah, they can stand there. And obviously, they just love waffles. That's pretty much the main thing that they eat. There's also a sticker up on the wall to represent the nice happy family with the 4 elves and Santa visiting. And then finally, Over here, one more action style of feature with this built-in cooking thing here. This is using just a basic dispenser design to dispense a single round tile at a time. You pull this up, dispenses one waffle down there, and you can actually angle this out like so. You don't even need to take it out completely. And then once you put it back, it resets. So you can, I think you can put 4 in there. You can get 4 to just barely work, but they include 3 officially that will be visible behind this convenient little window. Oh yeah, and there's a stocking up above. So now that you've seen the details, just one more time to look around the different parts of it on the whole. Make sure you get a good idea of what all you're getting here. And let me also just temporarily bring in one of these figures to give you a little extra suggestion of scale. So that's that. Let's go ahead and take a closer look at those figures as well. We'll look at these 2 at a time, and they share bodies and headgear pieces. So the only things that change between them are the accessories on these 2, and then other than that, heads. And some of these do have alternate faces. You can already see a little tease of one there. Some of them do not. So going ahead and taking off these hats and ears. That one has none. This one has 1. So he's a little bit worried about schedule, I'm assuming. And here are the other 2. So it kind of looks like they went for 2 female and 2 male elves. The one on the left here has printing that is not quite up to par. It's one of those that's a little bit splotchy, a little bit thin with the black print, and yeah, a little bit splotchy, a little bit blurry around the edges. And once again, one of these has an alternate face print. The other one does not. That one's printed a little bit better, but still not full quality. And finally, here are the spare parts, which include among them some luxuries like the extra little micro propeller, teacup, printed waffle, some other nice small items and interesting colors like the sand green that's used quite a bit in this set. And then here's the spent sticker sheet. Very few stickers used on it, and that's not because the set is loaded up with a bunch of printed pieces, but rather because the detail is done with just builds, actually putting physical Lego parts together. The set sells for $100 US, and it comes with just shy of 1,200 pieces. Took me about 2 hours to put it all together. On some objective measures, it looks like the value is pretty reasonable here. Subjectively, to me, it doesn't feel like I have $100 worth of stuff here in front of me. Even considering like a charm tax, a holiday item tax, because they can charge more for stuff, it still doesn't feel like $100 worth of stuff to me. Even having spent the time to put it all together, I like basically everything that's here. Like, I struggle to find anything to criticize about the design. Very, very few compromises were put into play in the build and the design of this. I mean, it has a lot of interior detail, plenty of exterior detail. The size is pretty good. Like, it doesn't rely on a whole lot of side stuff. Oh yeah, if there's any one thing that I could say was done wrong, like properly incorrect in the design and presentation of this set, it's the failure to include a 1x1 brick and a 1x1 tile in medium nougat as spares to allow you to create a complete reindeer, filling in the harness space like they normally do and have done since they first introduced molded horses, and have done on some other animals since then. So I feel like that is a definite miss, a very, very small thing, but just something that was done incorrectly in the design of this. Otherwise, it's really good. It's really, really good. It's a lot, but it's not too much for its size. It just does feel rather expensive to me for its size, for its total bulk. And I guess I do need to consider that the reindeer does add extra value to this, an extra cost at least. Animals always do, and especially something dual molded with multiple materials like that. Even though it's not able to articulate, still there's some extra value there. But like, to me, this feels like about $80, $85 worth of stuff to me. Tops. Considering that it's Lego and Lego is super expensive. If it wasn't Lego, then I would be like 60. You know, I'll stretch all the way out to about 85. So let's round up to 90. Still, 100 feels like a little bit too much. But otherwise, if you're okay with that price, or if you can find it on sale, I think you'll be very happy with what you get here, because it's done really, really well. Thank you for watching. If you want to check out how it actually goes together in total, it's an interesting build. It's not at all boring. There's only one repetitive part, and it's building these strings of lights, and that doesn't even take that long. There is some repetition in this, but it didn't really feel like it. Like, it felt interesting to me, but you can check out the real-time or speed builds on the respective channels linked from the end screen that's coming up right now, or the video description. Thanks for watching. Look forward to hearing what you think about this, including its price, and I'll talk to you again soon.